Well, landing a spot on Oprah's couch can be a ticket to fame and to fortune.
But the latest scandal involving one of her show's leading experts proves that not everything she touches turns to gold.
She's a woman with a whole lot of power.
I love Australia!
And on the receiving end of that fame are the experts she enlists.
From books to TV and now the web to have a national conversation about health and wellness. So let's start talking.
I'm not asking you to save the world. I'm just asking you to save yourself.
Both Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil have enjoyed international success, all thanks to Oprah. But sometimes there's a flip side to the fame. One of Oprah's leading child experts, Dr. Melvin Levine, committed suicide on Friday, a day after 40 of his former patients filed sexual abuse charges against him.
They said, this is a famous doctor. You're lucky to be treated by him and to be seen by him for this stuff.
It's not the first time experts have landed the talk show host in hot water. Plastic surgeon Dr. Jan Adams appeared on Oprah before operating on Kanye West's mother just before her death, resulting from surgery complications.
Can you get rid of stretch marks or surgery?
I don't believe so. We call them stretch marks, but they're really not stretch marks. They're actually scars that have formed underneath the skin.
And in 2006, Oprah invited author of A Million Little Pieces, James Frey, on the show for a second time, after his memoir proved to be fabricated.
I have been honest with you. I have, essentially admitted to what I have been lying.
There have been a few hits there, so can Oprah's credibility recover? Well, joining us to discuss this a little bit further, journalist Mark Joyella, who's in New York, here on the couch, marketing expert Matthew Bywater, in Canberra, entertainment columnist for the Sunday Telegraph, Jonathan Moore, and good morning, everybody. Mark, first up, the US media contingent is reporting that celebrity paediatrician Dr. Mel Levine committed suicide because of the class action against him. What else can you tell us?
Well, good morning, guys. The latest on that this morning is that police investigators say this was, in fact, a suicide. They have ruled out anything else. And they say that the doctor did leave behind a suicide note. The contents of that note, of course, have not been revealed, leaving many questions unanswered about whether or not the suicide was directly related to the lawsuit and if he was, in fact, killing himself out of guilt. Now, the family continues to maintain that the doctor was innocent of the charges against him. They released a statement saying, in effect, that he did groundbreaking work for kids and that legacy will continue to benefit children worldwide. But, of course, as you can imagine, here in the U.S., especially parents who looked to this man, read his books, depended on his advice, are devastated by these accusations. Many, of course, still believe in the doctor, but there's an awful lot of questions this morning.
Well, Mark, as you say, parents looked to him because he had almost Oprah's stamp of approval, if you like. What's been her reaction to this?
Officially, no reaction other than any reference to the doctor has been removed from Oprah Winfrey's website, where you could usually go and find, clips from the show and the words and recommendations of books from folks who have been associated with Oprah over the years. Oprah's fans, interestingly, are having a very specific kind of reaction to this. They are saying, essentially, this is a woman, Oprah Winfrey, who has been very honest about her own abuse in childhood and has devoted so much time and attention over the years to trying to protect kids. And they say, given how many years she has been on television with so many guests and experts, how could she have known? Of course, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Matthew, in Kylie's setup package there, we saw that Oprah's taken quite a few hits. There's one thing or another circulating most all of the time around Oprah. Could this sort of thing affect her credibility, albeit by association?
Absolutely. The trick here now, though, is whether this is going to be a dip momentarily or it's going to be a longer, deeper dip in her credibility. Now, that will all depend on the approach that she takes and Team Oprah takes to actually respond to this to these allegations.
Right.
Matthew, these experts who wield so much power, it's so important that they remain squeaky clean. I mean, I think it's important they remain squeaky clean regardless of whether they're on the Oprah show or not. But they've certainly lived their life in the spotlight, don't they? And they're under much scrutiny.
They're under a lot of scrutiny, and this is the thing about celebrities, is that we hold them to a much higher standard than the average person has to actually live with. So there's a higher account or a higher degree of accountability. So they have to be absolutely squeaky clean in everything, not just themselves in case of Oprah, but in everyone around her.
We'd be naive to think that Oprah's camp wouldn't have plans in place for something like this, having been through it before.
They would have preemptive...
A disaster plan.
Yeah, they would have preemptive plans already in place. And I think we're seeing stage one of that right now. With this no-comment stage we're going through, that's actually a reconnaissance stage. They're looking around to see what else is out there. They don't want to comment too early, because there may be more information comes out that's damaging. They can get broadsided from the side, so they want to really survey the landscape and see what's out there.
OK, Jonathan, we turn to you now. This isn't the first time, of course, that one of Oprah's experts has hurt the TV star's reputation, is it?
There's been numerous examples, but let's bear in mind she's been on air on this show for 25 years. Like, you know, you can put on a whole list of things, but, I mean, comparatively, I don't think it's that massive. You've got various examples, and they're very public examples, so we see it very openly. You've got the abuse case for her orphanage that she set up in South Africa. You've got her endorsing the book The Secret, and then the author coming out and saying the tsunami in 2004 was called upon by itself and deserved almost. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of examples, but, you know, not that many comparatively.
Jonathan, are Oprah's producers sitting down with Oprah's legal team and coming up with ways of better vetting the potential talent in the future?
The way I'm looking at this is like Oprah runs her business like a small country. Just look what she did in Australia. You know, for all of us media covering that extravagant, extraordinary event, it was like getting a presidential visit accreditation. So, look, I'm sure she is very careful with vetting her guests and so on, but not everything is full safe. And, you know, short of being the FBI, how was she supposed to predict that this guy was going to have a class action of paedophilia brought against him?
Yeah, and has taken his own life, sadly. Jonathan, thank you. In New York, Mark, thank you. And here on the couch, thanks as well.